And we're going in now. And I believe we are live. All right.
Found the flavor text community contest. And so we put the call out. We had 12 cards, 6 commons and 6 uncommons from the existence set that we put out to the community. We created a form, and our awesome lead game designer Brian Tinsman had an entire blog post article on the pros guide to writing flavor text. And we got a bunch of amazing submissions. And so today we are going to go through the submissions, talk about them, see which ones we liked, which ones we didn't. And of course, above all, we are going to announce the winners. And so those of you who won will see your flavor text on the actual card today. So without further ado, let's get moving. I'm going to
Hey everyone, thanks for dropping by the way.
To take us into a little bit about flavor text writing. And so
thanks, Kish. I am kind of the most experienced flavor text writer on the team, and worked on Magic sets for 10 years and have had hundreds and hundreds of flavor text submissions published for that and other games. And generally the way it works is kind of close to what we did for the community contest here, in that there is an invitation for people working on the project to write flavor text pieces. Those, for each card, a number of those pieces are put together, and then the team gets together and kind of votes on them. And the best ones rise to the top, and those are the ones that get on there. So over the course of doing that many times, I learned some tips and that I talked about in my blog post, the Pros Guide to Flavor Text Writing. And just to summarize those three, the first is show don't tell, which you hear a lot in like screenwriting classes and things like that. But you want to approach the information from an indirect, convey your message in an indirect way instead of telling them what it is. Describe the scene with the underlying message. The second one is be evocative, emotional, or surprising. So this is like a play on words or a surprising twist at the end, or somehow engage the senses. Like lots of flavor text pieces that have sight, smell, hot, cold, those very often rise to the top, or fear, joy, those connect with people, or ones that have a deeper sense of intrigue, of like there's more to the story, let me think about this on a couple of different levels. Those do really well. And then the last one is your piece has to be true within the world. So in some cases, that means if you're not sure what the role of this character, this monster is within the world, you can kind of keep it generic by talking specifically about what it does or its appearance or how it fights or something like that. But in other cases, if you like, you want to make some new lore information. These are domesticated by this faction or this tribe, and they rely on them to plow their fields. Like you're making new canon in the world when you do that kind of thing, which it can be great, but just make sure it fits within the lore. And in some cases, if the piece is good enough and people love it enough, they'll just say, awesome, do it, and create new lore on the spot based on that flavor text. So that's super exciting when that can happen. Anyway, so that's my quick overview of like some of the criteria that we used when we were looking at these pieces.
Thanks, Brian. That's super helpful. And just a reminder, as you can see on the screen, the Pro's Guide to CCG Flavor Text Writing, as written by Brian Tinsman himself. You can go to news.wondersccg.com. And also there's a link in the description. So you can head down to the description of this video and go find it there as well. Before we move on, however, as you can see in your screen, at least I hope, we're trying a new overlay for the first time. And thanks to Bear, much appreciated Bear from the UK. We want to introduce our special guest. You all know him as Hawkwind if you're a community member in our Discord, and we know him as the man whose name gets confused with mine, Chris Kish. Please meet Chris Fish. You want to come off mute and just give a few words to everyone listening in today? If you want to come on off mute and listen to... Still on mute. There you go. Hey! He's having trouble with technology today, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, I actually was called a boomer twice by Kish today. That was really funny. And it was appropriate. So I'm really excited about this. I've been playing Magic: The Gathering since 1995. So flavoring text is something I grew up with. Back in the old days, there wasn't a lot of abilities in Magic, and there wasn't a ton of mechanics. So you had a lot of common creatures where there was only below the art was only flavor text. So we used to stare at those because some of my buddies would take, like 20 minutes for their simple turn. So what else did you have to stare at? Art and flavor text. So it's something that I really enjoy. And there's two different ones I personally enjoy are whimsical, and then the deep lore ones. I know they're two opposites of spectrum, but both of those really do it. The whimsical really catches me off guard and I laugh. And I love laughing. Anything to make me laugh is just a rare occurrence. Well, hopefully not. And in this case, flavor text does it. And I looked at some of the flavor text that was submitted, and boy, some of those actually made me laugh out loud. So I can't wait to dive into these.
That's what we call an LOL in social media speak. Chris?
Oh God, I don't even want to start a LOL. I knew when it was first invented. That's how long ago.
Boy. Well, let's move on to some flavor text, and let's jump right in because we got 12 cards to go through. Like I said, we have 6 commons and 6 uncommons. Before we jump in, I just wanted to give everyone a little bit of an overview of who submitted, how many submissions we had. You can kind of see there, flowers to all of the Discord handles up on the screen now. Hopefully you guys can see them. But we got a couple people really standing out, BP Fergu and Hodlebow, both submitting a good portion of our flavor text submissions with a few others in there. And, if you're interested, you can see there as well on screen how many submissions each card got. And it looks like Dreamweaver Sloth took the trophy. He might be slow, but he got the most flavor text submissions. And everyone else seemed to be... So, with that said, shall we jump in team? Anything anybody wants to say before we get into the first card?
Sure, well, absolutely. First things first, I'm just really excited to have seen all of the entries. Like you said before, there are some funny ones. There are some meaningful ones. There are some that are rooted in, cryptic messaging. And so I look forward to you guys seeing what we have chosen. Good luck, everyone who submitted. And Chris, as you said, let's get right into it.
All right. Well, on screen are all the cards, just to give you a reminder of everything that we had in the contest. And just as a little bit of information and reminder, if you want to go back and read through the contest rules, that blog post is also linked in the description below for the video. So you can check that out as well. And so without further ado, we will move on to our first card, which is Dreamweaver Sloth, the favorite What do you guys think? What were some of your favorites, without giving away the winner just yet? What were some of your favorite submissions from Dreamweaver Sloth? Yeah, everyone pull up the spreadsheet.
Yeah.
Right? I was.
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things that showed up a lot is definitely speaking to the sloths, laziness and slowness, and there was a lot of underdog tonality to Dreamweaver Sloth's flavor text.
There was one funny one for me, which was, "You might see him, ... at the end of your dream."
Oh,
Sure, what kind
it's
of
kind of
dream that would
sweet,
be,
isn't
but-
it?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's sweet or if that's a threat. Is this Dreamweaver Sloth? I heard a fact that stated that, you know, sloths are so deadly that if they weren't so slow, they would be the apex predators in their respective jungles, which is a pretty scary thought, to be honest. Imagine one of those things, big old bone claws coming at you. Whew.
I mean, back in ancient times, there were giant sloths, right? Like size of giraffes that just like walked around.
Oh my goodness.
So,
I saw
Michael,
it.
Michael Anderson put one in, which I thought was kind of funny in my head when I thought about it, which was it's just Patraya, and it's got this little Ewok. Pictured like Dreamweaver Sloth, this little Ewok running around screaming Patraya in this really high tone. So I think that was fun. We got a lot to move through, guys. Anything else standing out for Dreamweaver Sloth, or shall we drum roll to the winner?
I liked Redemption Fox's very short and succinct. Not all who dream awaken, which is
Wow.
a
Or Bodo.
very gentle, very nice, very put together.
Hmm.
Definitely one of my favorite from the ones given for the Dreamweaver Sloth.
I did like his Redemption Fox. It's in asterisks, heavy breathing.
That's scary.
I struggle. I'm a little bit mad at this card because I've gone past it so many times and wanted to put an ability on it here or there, but I know that like for the spot that it's in, if we need to have a no ability card that is this cost and this power level, and the sloth is just there doing his thing and he's doing a great job at it, so I have to leave him alone. I can't meddle with him, I can't tinker with him. He's just like he's just confident in his 1-3-ness, so I'm like, all right, I won't touch you.
Leave him alone, he's sleeping. All right, so we will announce the winner for Dreamweaver Sloth is Brandon Ferguson, BP Fergu, winning flavor text. Time is a fruit, memories are the roots, dreams are the wind, and enemies are the bugs. I like that one because it's pretty stoic, and yet there's a little bit of a nice, fun twist at the end.
Yeah,
this is
completely agreed.
This is one of those that kind of sits in between, making you think about it at another level, and then having a little bit of a surprising twist at the end, right? So like, time is a fruit. How does that make sense? You're trying to figure out, is this the perspective of like seeing through the eyes of a sloth, where he has all the time that he wants, and it's something to be savored and enjoyed, and you know, memories are the roots of the past, and at the very end, you know, enemies are the bugs. Okay, if you're a sloth, the bugs are there either to bite you or to eat your food, or you know, you have these very deep, lofty, ethereal thoughts, and then like, oh yeah, and bugs. It's a nice little twist.
Love it. Absolutely.
All right,
love it.
let's move on to our second card here. Spellbroken Flame Golem.
Oh yeah, this was a scary one, and there was one particular, just one that really stood out to me, which was, what can be worse than a broken heart? And then of course we look at Spellbroken Flame Golem, and I guess the answer is this This is it's probably worse. So yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites.
Same here.
That one stood out. Go ahead, Chris.
I was going to say, same with me also. That was my favorite. And I really like flavor text that have one sentence because it just drills it home. Like, it's so poignant if you have the one sentence.
Completely agree.
I voted for that one too. That was one of my votes for this card. Had it been Heartbroken Flame Golem, that would have been the perfect flavor text. Unfortunately, Spellbroken is not necessarily meaning heartbroken.
Another funny one was also by Michael Anderson. It was just very very simple. Hot Pocket. just funny. It's
very pertinent.
very humorous to imagine that just texted in the flavor text. Gave me a good chuckle when looking over it.
Yeah, and I will mention too that it's great to, like, there's lots of enjoyable little quips or little jokes like that, but a little goes a long way. Like, when you're looking at an entire card set, if more than 10-15% are little jokey things like that, you start to roll your eyes and it gets old. So there's a lot of good pieces that really fit, like good flavor text pieces that work well for that card, but don't necessarily work well in the context of the whole set, or in the context of all commons, or in the context of all Sulfera. And so it's like looking at all the other pieces that becomes like part of the decision of a great piece of flavor text can still get rejected.
And there you have it. With that, shall we see who the winner of Spellbroken Flame Golem is? Brandon Ferguson.
Woo!
Let's
Brandon.
go, Brandon.
If what you seek is fire and ash, first look inward.
Yeah, so this is
Beautiful.
definitely one that you first read it and it makes you like go back to it and say, what is it trying to say? And to me, there's a message here that if you are looking to destroy and have anger and fury all around you, what's inside of you that's causing you to do that? You'll find that fire and ash inside yourself before you spread it to others. And it's like, oh man, it reminds me of there's a design quote that says, all things are created twice, first in the mind and then in reality. So like, oh yeah, somebody had to think of that building first and then they actually built the building. And it's like, this is another way of getting at that idea. Like, what's within you will be spread. And it fits the piece really well.
Yeah,
Brian.
I really liked it because what it did was it kind of humanized this golem. When we think of golems as these kind of inhuman, soulless creatures, but it must have had a tragic. The flavor text in my mind puts it that it had a tragic backstory. You can empathize with how he became so engulfed in fire and ash.
I completely agree. I mean, it is really especially pertinent and deep and eclectic, especially when you consider that the alternative is that it could have been Hot Pocket. So I'm glad that we ended up with that, for sure.
Hot Pocket is funny.
All right, third card. We're moving on to Thalwind and the beast from the deep. It is the Dark Iron Fish, the abyssal fish monster. So this was an interesting one because, on the surface, it kind of just looks like a fish, right? So it was interesting to see the submissions that built this creature, secondary wonder, into the world of Thalwind in a way that is very interesting.
Sorry to pull the discussion back into game design, but this guy is great. Actually, he's super useful in Thalwind. So it's just like I have affection for this this little fish dude.
I really liked.
Absolutely.
I liked how peculiar that such an exotic metal be adorned to such an ugly fish. And then you kind of think, well, are those scales? What could they be made of?
Yeah, it looks like he could have plate mail armor like built onto him.
Absolutely.
Ramel, anything from you on Dark Iron?
I like the. There's always a bigger fish. That was a good one.
For sure.
Yeah, you don't really have scale to Dark Iron fish so much in this, but perhaps he could be big.
He doesn't have no scale.
My favorite was by Bo Buchanan, and it's if you aren't afraid of the water yet, you will be. I mean, the fish itself doesn't look that horrifying, but it makes you wonder, like, is the fish, like, is there something going on with it that, like, does it have, like, toxic breath or something going on that's going to make you super scared to swim around?
You got to ask the question, what's eating an iron fish?
Oh, yeah.
That's
right?
a scary
Damn.
prospect. Wow.
Yeah. Something out there is.
Well, let's see what the winning flavor text is here. And Brandon Ferguson, we got the winning flavor text. The scales make for excellent tools and are worth their weight in precious gems, depending on the season.
Wow.
So
What?
That is something.
yeah, this is a good example of a piece of flavor text that creates lore. And it has a whole bunch of questions that come behind it that are sort of like have to at some point you're going to be waiting for these questions to be answered. Who is making tools out of the scales? Who's trading them? Is there a marketplace? Do the fishermen pull one of these up and then go to like some city where they can sell it like an ahi tuna? And then depending on the season, do the scales have different qualities, or they're extra sharp or extra malleable or something like that, depending on when they were caught? And like all of those things are sort of like mysteries that can slowly be revealed as the lore is built over time.
Wow.
You nailed
Great
it.
story points.
Well, congrats to Brandon once again.
Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Well,
Absolute sweep.
You take shots on goal, and some of them are going to go in. Congratulations, BB. Moving on to Bear's favorite realm, Umbrathine and the Endless Ram. So, Bear, I do want to hear your thoughts first on Endless Ram. Which ones did you
absolutely.
find?
Well, I think perhaps I'll first just talk about Endless Ram and my kind of thoughts about Endless Ram. To me, in the starter deck testing that we've done, in the play test that we did live in Colombia, Endless Ram has been an absolute staple and something that people have just loved the art of. They keep coming back to it. I mean, it's 2 cost, 4 power, super economical. And I think effectively, I would even go as far as to say, it's a secondary wonder, so it's probably going to make it into a fair few people's decks. I think this is a really important card. So, one of my favorite Endless Ram ones was oh god, wait, where was it? Yes, it was the passage through the catacombs of Old Grove is a challenge for dead and undead alike. The Mesars are one of the few that instinctively know the path. Just building this entire story around, a character that they might not have the same intimate connection that we've benefited from having with these characters, with these wonders rather. It was really awesome to see people weaving these complex stories. So that was my favorite.
My favorite was this ram that never ends. It goes on and on, my friend. The reason why I like that is just because it's asking me a question and then engaging with me through the flavor text. And it's that I think is really important at times is to be able to, a flavor text that can actually get you to think about something beyond just the 5 seconds of reading it and afterwards, I think is really valuable.
Agreed. Well, let's see who nailed the flavor text for this one. Bear, your first thoughts. Bo Buchanan. The sound of his horns scraping against the rock are only less chilling than the horrific clacking of his jaws.
Yeah, I mean that is a scary sentiment that really embodies everything that to me Umbrathine is all about. You know, it's scary, but all the while just we can't help but have this curiosity about these shadowed creatures that have emerged out of their caves and respective settlements. Big fan of this. Big fan of this. It is, all about the anticipation. Big fan.
All right. So, what did I tell you guys about cards? Flavor text that is evocative of the senses. You've got 2 audio evocations here, and I think probably all of us have in our minds like this noise of watching like a couple of elk fight and scrape their horns against each other, or elephants with their tusks on the rock, and it's not a pleasant sound. It's not a sound that's easy to listen to. It's just like, oh my god, are they going to break their bones off while they're doing that? And I think whether we were conscious of it or not, we all had some kind of a creepy sense from remembering that kind of sound when we read this. And I think that's why it got a lot of votes. And I'm telling you, evocative, making you remember or think of sense experiences. That's the right way to get flavor text.
Yeah, wonderfully said, Brian. Evoking those feelings, through experiences that you're not even able to experience. We're providing a medium, so we're saying, hey, read this, but hear this as you read it. And I love opportunities to do that. So completely agree with you there, Brian.
All right, moving on to my favorite orbital.
Oh yes.
And one of the cutest guys in Heliosynth, we have Patch Squibbler, the Biosynth lizard beast.
I mean, this guy's adorable, just absolutely adorable. And also kind of seems like he knows what's up. Like there's something that he knows that maybe we don't.
He's got a Rocket Raccoon vibe. He's definitely seen some things.
There we go.
And he built. I love one of the ones I voted for was worldly scraps are a part of me, and when I perish, the world will have them back.
Oh wow!
I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
My favorite was a little more casual. It was squibbling sideways again. Must be sand in the circuit. Love it.
That's good too. I like using squibble as a word or a verb.
Right. Who'd have thought?
Yeah, it must be. He's a squibbler. What is squibbling?
So I could see it almost as like a little knock in the playground when kids are like, "Oh, he's just squibbling about." Leave that squibbler alone. And it's one of those low-key insults in the Heliosynth schools. All right, let's see what the winner is. Another one for Brandon Ferguson. The world is broken, but I fix things. Zarmi, Tribe Artificer.
It's so good. I love this one.
Yeah.
So to me, this is actually a really important piece of flavor text because it's establishing a precedent that Heliosynth has a whole lot of creatures that are half biological and part biological, part machine, and we haven't really had a good clear moment when we see why is that? Is that because they breed these little tadpoles and then enhance them to become domesticated animals, or is it for other reasons? And this establishes that this lizard was damaged somehow, either by disaster or war or something, and it was remade. It was not created on purpose from the beginning. It was repurposed and put into a new role with enhancements. And so that moving forward, that explains the background of a whole lot of other heliosynth creatures that are similar to this. Like, and it establishes this precedent that we're now going to have to look for.
Great.
And hey, maybe we make Zarmi a character, and down the line.
There you go.
Yeah, Zarmi.
All right.
I have to leave soon. Unfortunately, I have another engagement. But Brian, I wanted to ask you one question on flavor text.
Mm-hmm.
How do you account for it being an international game and having other parts of the world understand what we're talking about at times? Because we use so many idioms and other culture specific verbiage that it's got to be hard.
Yeah, it's I think case by case in a lot of instances, because there's a lot of phrases, especially like little quips and play on words and things like that. Like those phrases are not found in other languages, so they wouldn't make any sense. So in those cases, it's the same thing with like card naming too. You usually just rewrite them entirely, which is a lot of work for the translation team, because a lot of times, translation service people are not super experienced in creative writing and things like that. But you can find those who are, and they're very talented to be able to get the same sense that the English version was trying to convey. But in occasions where you can't do that, you usually just remove the flavor text for those versions. So
I got you.
Yeah, and it's a shame when that happens.
Yeah. Well, thank you, everyone. I got to run, but I got to tell you, the flavor text has been an awesome experience, just to laugh and think and engage just by reading a little bit of a few sentences. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Fish. And before you go, just a quick mechanical process. If you could just mute and stay, just turn your camera off. That way we don't have to move the screens around on our end. That'd be appreciated. Thank you for the technical break. Just don't leave this Discord chat. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.
See ya.
A peek behind the scene as we manage the process here at Wonders of the First. I hope you are all enjoying this live stream. We try to do as many of them as we can. So if you're enjoying it, please let us know in the comments below, in the live chat. If you have any questions, we are watching you. And let us know if you want to see more, what you want to see more of. Without further ado, let's move on to Boundless, the ethereal enigmist. It's a mouthful. Ramel. This is your
things did get messed up.
It's okay.
It's fine.
It's alright.
Yeah,
it's alright. Don't you worry.
Yeah.
Please continue.
Right. Enigma.
Yeah, this one, like the art for this one was a lot of fun to do. So seeing what people thought, like where their minds went, was actually fascinating. Some of them were pretty interesting. They went as far as trying to tell stories. I think there was one with war, the future never arrives, the past never leaves, and the present is hell. That was pretty good.
Yeah, there was a lot of really cool peeks inside what Boundless could actually start doing. I think, where was the one that I really enjoyed? When you pluck the strings of time, you must listen to tunes that follow. So I thought that was pretty solid.
Yeah, I like that one.
Yeah.
We use that for something else.
Maybe.
Boundless, maybe.
We might. I mean, we could probably steal a lot of these, honestly.
Not feeling. quiet. Shh. They were submitted.
Submit. Yeah.
Thank you to everyone who submitted. You know, we have lots
Sure.
of text
Sure.
to do. Yeah, you know, maybe we'll reach out to the winners. Our winner here, for instance, Brandon Ferguson. Again, he's crushing it.
Absolutely
Even
crushing
now.
it today.
Yeah. Our survival is essential for the existence of theirs. But how to explain this to creatures that can only see in 3 directions?
Wow. Opens up so many doors for storytelling. I mean, just like really lays this this beautiful canvas, right? And that's something that we are to dance on. So keep it going, Brandon. Thank you so much for that incredible contribution. Big fan.
I like that this speaks to the cohabitation of different species within the Wonders universe. It's something
Yes.
that we are dealing with now here in our world. And so the interdependence of creatures and wonders opens up interesting storytelling avenues that I think are pretty cool and pretty relevant.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
And I think you hit on something important there, Kish, about the contrast that happens within Boundless, especially because we have like some kind of traditional human-looking characters and angels and kind of celestial-looking characters, and then we have these abstract beings from another dimension, and those are all within the realm of Boundless, and it makes you think about, okay, if we could see into other realities or other dimensions, or like the cosmic realms, you would see stuff in there that is what we expect, and then you'd see stuff in there that's just like way beyond comprehension. Like human minds were not built to understand this, and this is like a little piece that you're like, okay, is there a face? Are those arms? How does it move? What does it do? Like, I don't even know. And imagine that your survival was dependent on having to ally with something like that. It speaks to the difficulty of operating in so many different kinds of creatures within your group.
So Life of Pi, but instead of a tiger, it's Ethereal Enigmist.
The Enigmist is a great name too.
I shared a very small light raft with him.
Well, let's move on now. We are going officially through the halfway point. So this was the last common, and we are officially moving into the uncommons. And we will begin back where we started with Patria and the Igling Roch, which, to be fair, kind of always reminded me of something I got after a hard football practice. It was amazing.
Oh dear.
I gotta laugh.
Do you reckon that's why he
boy.
looks so angry all the time?
Oh,
Poor
God.
chap.
So, what did you guys think? I really enjoyed The Trees Speak, but I Do Not Listen.
Oh, that one's good. That one's really good. I liked Roch this and then ripping noises. Watch this, and then it blows something up. It's just funny.
Yeah. Yeah, or actually by the same person, which I believe was Redemption Fox. It was the Igling Roch may look mean, but deep down, he's even meaner than that. Which is
That's a great one.
great, such a classic misdirect.
Yeah.
Honorable mention.
Well, we shall find out who the winner is in 3, 2, 1. Another hit on goal for Brandon Ferguson, who I'll tell you, he submitted about 30% of all of our flavor texts. And so, good on you for taking the time, because it is showing. I will say, though, there are other winners, so hang tight if you haven't gotten yours yet. The winning submission for Igling Roch. The forest holds many secrets. Some must tell their stories.
Wow.
The reason I like this one is because it does juxtapose Igling Roch to a deeper, wiser side. And perhaps he's not this mean ogre behemoth, but maybe he is more of a lore keeper.
Wow.
I like the connotation that it gives, that there's more to the story than just someone that beats people up.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
Moving on to Sulfera and the Kraken of the Inferno. Ryder, Sulfera was traditionally yours. What did you think of some of the submissions for Kraken of the Inferno?
Kraken was a bit different than the other submissions because not only did it have the flying on it, but also it's kind of just like this crazy looking piece with it's like flying in the air, and it's like fire down below. It's this weird, you would think a octopus squid type of thing would be in Thalwind, but instead there's a floating octopus thing in Sulfera. And so it seems like it would be hard to write good flavor text for that without knowing too much about it, but yet there were so many really, really good ones. Some of my favorite that were just like, I guess I'm drawn to the really simple ones. It's now the calamari fries you. Or, it's funny. Or was it flambéed by squid? That's like cooked by squid. The other way around, how you cook squid. Anyways, I like those two. Yeah.
To your point, Ryder, I think there were a couple other submissions that were confused by having a Kraken inside of Sulfera, because a couple of the funny ones were, wait, what? Ow? It's Sulfera. Yeah,
the self-aware caption.
I thought those were supposed to swim. So I thought those were pretty good. However, tying back to our lore, the winner, I think, had a really good kind of wink and nod to what and where it all started. And so, once again, you've heard his name once, you've heard it before, Brandon Ferguson, coming in with a nod to the Great Forming.
The man's done it again.
Fire, water, and tentacles blend in a sacred dance paying homage to the Great Forming.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, one of the things that we spoke about in our lore, as we've been building it up, is the Great Forming, how this universe started, what happens when the stones are all collected, kind of these overarching themes. And this is a really great way to bring these kind of creatures back to their moment of creation in a really interesting way.
His power just changed to a 6 also. That flavor text made it more powerful.
I think it's funny that this is the only one that has an extra ability and can fly, and I don't think we told people that.
We didn't.
Valid.
I didn't know that, and I was designing the card.
Also, by the way,
All
folks,
things are going to change.
if you are not already, I see we are having 9 votes, 10 votes. Submit your votes in the polls. We're having some fun as we're going along, and feel free to engage in whichever way you like. I want to just give a quick honorable mention, of course, to Loco, who's been very active in the chat. Patches, our favorites, of course. Colin, Hennigan, Hit and Run Insurance Services, and more. Thank you all for being here, and please, I'm glad to see that you're enjoying the stream. So Cool. Keep it up, folks. Back to you, Chris.
Thank you, Bear. And
that name could be a flavor text.
As a reminder, if you are not already, hit like and subscribe. Let that algorithm know that this is the stuff you like and that others should like it too. And feel free to go ahead and just share that link, because we still have at least, 4 more
Oh, yes.
orbit to run through. So there's still plenty to do. And let's go ahead and, speak of that insurance. You may need it after a run-in with the Abyssal Sand Leviathan.
Very nice segue. Very nice.
That boat, for sure. I don't know if it's covered. So these were fun. And in the insurance, I guess we can have the disclaimer, which Redemption Fox so kindly put in. Warning: please do not ride the worm.
Oh, very nice. A little like a familiar franchise that I'm not going to mention by name. Fantastic and very interesting.
I really liked the sands of time pass through it, as does most other creatures.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
Too.
Yeah, that's funny.
That was a good one. Similarly, the early bird gets wormed. Another kind of funny one. And the winner actually is, this is one of those kind of tongue-in-cheek flavor texts. And so moving to a little bit, Brian, about what you spoke earlier too, is the little kind of chuckle in the middle of a game. Breaking BP Fergu's streak.
Oh, yes.
Redemption Fox, let's go. Good job. Finally, someone coming in and taking the reins. The winning flavor text reads, the latest in wormhole technology is an unpleasant experience.
Yeah, so we've got kind of like two things that are intriguing about this. First is the double meaning of wormhole technology, which you kind of initially think of as a science fiction
Right.
warp tech, but after looking at the art piece, you sort of realize, oh, it's a hole made by this huge worm. And then an unpleasant experience is like an extreme understatement. Like I would call having this guy come at you like that is a lot more than an unpleasant experience. So
Oh, yeah.
it's a great juxtaposition of those two little twists right next to each other.
I like the fact that it kind of leans to maybe the worm is the after effect of going through a wormhole. That was a person.
Wow. Okay. Lots of paint, lots of canvas.
That art also is like going back and forth on whether I think it's a lamprey or a manatee.
You know,
Right.
with Dune 2 making a lot of the headlines recently, it's, when you think of sandworm, I think a lot of people in the mainstream think of like what you see in the Dune movies, and this is just a great like polar opposite. So I think it's pretty fantastic.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Redemption Fox. Great
Let's
job.
go.
Moving on. The giant Gura beast.
Oh,
What
yes.
a myth horror monster if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely. And the giant
It's a
Gura
fan
beast,
favorite.
again, yeah, one of those fan favorites from the playtest. I mean, this guy's a staple. Look at him. That's a scary chap. He's gunning you down. And I love the fact that we included a person down there just to show you how big, how giant this Gura beast is. And one of my favorites was by Bo Buchanan, and it was I Am the Darkness.
My favorite was, I had two favorites. The first was, terror doesn't set in when you see it. No, that happens when the smell of flesh hits you. This is like been ripping apart things. It's the putrid smell. It's very, very visceral to imagine. And the other one is And I thought the Endless Ram was bad, which is like, because this guy's just directly higher power, scarier looking, just funny.
You know,
Yeah.
Bo also had a good one here that I don't remember reading the other day, but as the sun darkens, you slowly realize that it is not night, but day, and hell has come for you.
Wow. That's killer. My goodness.
However, that is not the winner. Unfortunately, Bo, I'm sorry. The votes tallied, and once again, the king is back on the court, Brandon Ferguson. And he has a direct quote from the giant Gura beast. I've consumed your forefathers and will consume anything you propagate. Your storied lineage has no bearing to me.
That's nasty,
Yeah.
man.
So this seems like it's a quote directly from this giant beast, but then I look at the subtypes there, the classes, a mythological horror monster, and it makes me question if this is just a quote from a myth or a story, like the folklore about the spider said to the fox in some stories that are told about this thing. It is a giant beast, and so I'm like, that kind of suggests that it wouldn't really talk or be sentient. So are we looking at a piece of mythology here, or is it actually like talking to this tiny little human?
Yeah.
Well, Brandon, good job. I just want to let everyone out there know, in case there's any consideration at this point, because BP Ferg has gotten a lot of them. We covered all of the names and all of the Discords, so there was no favoritism played. We didn't know who submitted or what, and it was a blind vote. So just a little peek into the insight. I'm hoping we got everybody who submitted at least one. But we're going to find out soon as we move into the final two orbitals.
Oh, yes.
Luminara Sky Jelly, the spore monster out of Heliosynth. What interesting creature this is. If one can call it a creature.
It's special, that's for sure.
Very special.
Well, one of the Michael Anderson, one of the flavor text just says pop, which is kind of funny to think that there might be kids out there who shoot stones at these things and then just kind of explode them as like a pastime on Heliosynth.
Oh, spores everywhere.
Yeah.
Oh,
Don't
bro.
want that.
What other one came out of here that was really good? Huh? Wars are fought over illuminant relics, with those involved forced to look up to see their prize. So maybe wars have been fought over this thing. That's interesting. I will say Luminara probably got the least amount of submissions. I don't know if people just didn't make it all the way through the list. But there definitely wasn't as many here. Any others that you see?
I like, when you awake from a nightmare that seems real, this is what you remember. And also by Bo is, when an impending sense of doom sinks into your flesh like teeth, this is what bites. Which is very like...
Damn.
Whoa.
That's intense for something you'd put on a peanut butter sandwich.
I gotta admit, this poll is cracking me up, Bear. And if you guys aren't seeing it on screen here, it's a poll in the live stream chat, and it's favorite breakfast, ? Peanut butter and sky jelly, or ram and eggs.
Gotta keep them guessing, Chris.
Clever, you clever goose. All right, moving on to the winner for Luminara Sky Jelly. Our favorite copywriter, Brandon Ferguson.
God.
Congratulations.
Woo! Brandon.
Again,
Oh, Brandon.
an ode back to the great forming, and I think that's essentially what clinched it here. Some believe they carry artifacts from the great forming. Others see them for what they are. this introduces a little bit of mystery into the Sky Jelly, and it likened me to remember the conversations when we were choosing this character proof of what in the hell is this thing anyway, and we didn't know. So perhaps it is that the people of Heliosith don't know either, and they're just taking a big old guess.
Yeah. I mean, you could take an interesting point there. I know there's a lot of faith in Heliosynth, so who is to say that perhaps this could be seen as a deity, perhaps to some, to be looked upon. Yeah, lots of opportunity for faith expression there. Let's see.
Yeah. So
Logo,
one reason
it's literally jelly. Thanks, Loco. We love you, man.
One reason I think that helped this rise to the top is that there is an undercurrent of danger here, and I actually think that it's the art in particular is pretty evocative of the Alien series. With those arms look quite a bit like the Xenomorph face hugger, and then the item inside the sphere has alien egg shape to it, and I think they're subtle enough that that doesn't really hit you over the head, but in the background you're sort of like, this is a dangerous thing, and something's going to jump out of it and grab you and infest you somehow with its spores. And so this flavor text, I think, helps emphasize that for what they really are is something dangerous and unexpected, and that most people won't even recognize or acknowledge. Similar again to the message of the Alien series, where they're sort of like, probably just nothing big, and then it turns out to be something awful.
Yeah, beautiful, and behind it's beauty, perhaps death.
Inextricably linked, of course.
I totally forgot what I was going to say. So, perhaps we just move on. Total blank out. Thanks, Brian, for that insightful commentary. All right. So, moving on to the final uncommon, and we are back into Boundless, and one of my favorite arts that we've revealed so far, perhaps close to, I would say it's in my top 10 in the art for existence. The Quadratusk Aetherfont. Great name, incredible name.
This one was super hard to choose for because there was about 22 entries, and all of them were like really, really, really good.
What was one of your favorites, Ryder?
I loved Double the Tusks, Double the Fun. I liked there's like some panicked guy looking at this elephant, and they're like, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4. This one has 4. Like, it's like some adventurer like comes upon it, and he's like, what's going on? There's an Aetherfont never forgives, which is funny. Each Aetherfont tusk can hold upwards of 85 impaled carcasses. That's pretty hilarious. There's just tons of these that are so funny.
Some of the ones that came in, and we can kind of tell that maybe there was some AI help coming from some of you, and only that because some of these were actually really good. However, they just didn't edit the names correctly. So, we have these kingdoms are built from the proceeds of just 4 Chimuna tusks. Kingdoms also fall to them. I guess, is it calling those tusks? Is that like ivory? Is Chimuna?
Ooh.
I don't know how to pronounce
Yeah.
it. But I assume they just forgot to replace that word with Aetherfant.
The look of it's got to be top 10, honestly.
Hmm. Woo! Ooh. One sec, folks, we've just lost sound, by the way. But we're working on getting it right back.
Oh no!
So we
Can you hear me
so
now?
we can say anything we want.
I
Check,
can hear
check.
you guys.
Oh man, not hearing sound
There we
at
go.
the moment.
That should be back to normal.
No.
How about that? Can you all hear us now?
Probably
Let's get a
should be
little
able
thumbs
to.
up in the. Oh, let's go, Loco 4. Can you guys hear us?
Yeah.
Want to make sure you can all
They
hear
should
us.
be able to now, yeah.
Check, 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 check.
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 Testing. Woo! Can you hear me?
We're
We're back.
Loco, it's
Yes,
great
yes,
to
we're
chat.
back.
Hey, congrats,
Oh,
man.
James, having a little confusion up here, but good. Glad you can hear us now. BP Fergu knocked off of the top by Michael Anderson. So congratulations, Logo 4. I know you were looking for that win in the chat all stream long. I wanted to say something to you sooner, but I thought the excitement would be well worth the anticipation. So congratulations. What an epic creature to have landed your flavor text on as well.
And I want to point out that there is some like extra clean elegance to this in that there's 4 little phrases between the commas here, and each of those phrases begins with the word for, and each of those fours has 4 letters in it. F-O-U-R, 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 F-O-R-E. And like I think that that's one of those things that like you don't really notice, but your mind kind of notices and it gives it a little extra enjoyment as you experience, and then you come back to it later, and you're like, why do I like this so much? It's because there's another little layer hidden within it.
Well, that wraps it up. Congratulations to all of our winners. You can see all the cards above that will make it into the existence set. Your flavor text is on them. So congratulations to everyone who submitted, everyone who got on the card. Super exciting process. It was so fun for us to sit up here and break these down to see how you guys all played with the lore in a very kind of strict guideline purpose here, and maybe there will be some more opportunities for you all to participate in the creation of existence and for sure the future sets of Wonders of the First. So without any further ado, would anybody like to say any closing words?
Sure, I'll say something. If you guys want to do something real fun and like, I don't know, help us create a card, spam Kish. Spam him on Twitter and make it happen.
That's so evil, Ramel. You know how busy this man is.
Well, if I ignore you, it's not because I don't like you, but it's because we are building this set and we're having a great time doing it. No, please reach out. We try to get into Discord as much as possible. So if you're not in our Discord yet, or if you're seeing this at a time when we're not live streaming, head over to Discord. You can find our link in the description. Probably need to add it after saying it now, but it will be in the description if it's not as I'm saying this live. And I just want to thank everybody who joined us today. I want to thank all of the team members for taking time out of their day to chat. You get a little behind the scenes of what we're thinking about as we're building this card set out and as we look at these characters and how they fit inside of our set. And really great to get you all involved in the community. So, hit any of us up. And anything, Brian, you want to close with before we wrap it up today?
I just really enjoyed the creativity, and I felt like that it's a bit heartbreaking to see so many pieces that were really good, and either they're going to get cut, or they could be made even better with an editing pass or something like that. And so I hope we get to do this again, and we've got a lot more flavor text to go. So hopefully there's more chances.
Absolutely. And just as we clean up back of house, stay tuned, everyone, because we are going to have a Kickstarter pre-sale coming up soon. That will be launching here in April at some time, so stay tuned. Make sure you're following us on all of our socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube. I mean, we got them all. So come check us out. Subscribe, like, share. We often have rewards for our community members who we are watching from behind the scenes, who are really taking and running with this thing. So, not to say that that's the incentive, but we hope that you love it as much as we do, and that you will create and share all of the wonderful stuff from Wonders of the First. So with that said, have a great, wonderful rest of your Monday. We look forward to the next live stream, and we will see you in Discord. See you later.